It's getting cooler outside, which means sweatshirts, but it also means Parkland College basketball. We'll be right back with new men's head basketball coach Anthony Figueroa.
Hey, Allison and Dylan, what if I told you could get a head start on college before you graduated high school and for little to no cost?
Well, I'd ask you what the catch is.
Yeah, how can I take college courses if I haven't even finished high school yet?
That's easy. You simply enroll in dual credit courses at Parkland College.
But won't that be expensive?
Yeah, will all the credits transfer?
Well, most four-year universities accept these credits, and you're actually saving money. Many times the high school will even cover the cost of the course.
I'm sorry, did I overhear you guys correctly? Did you just say that you could take college courses without paying college tuition?
Yeah, all we pay for is the course and the textbook, and we can earn college credit towards getting our degree.
You guys are catching on. The credit works toward a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, and even toward career certificate programs.
I like the sound of this.
I don't know, this all sounds great, but I already have a busy schedule and I won't have time to drive to classes.
You won't have to. Parkland offers a number of dual credit courses online, in addition to the on-campus courses. Some of the courses are even taught in your high school.
You mean to say that one of the high school classes I'm taking right now could work as a dual credit course as well?
Yes, you should talk to the school counselor to see which classes are offered as dual credit in our school. Then all you need to do is apply to Parkland, and once you're accepted, fill out the application to the dual credit program. You'll need the signature of your parents and advisor for this.
That sounds easy enough, but are there any requirements to being eligible for dual credit?
Yes, you must be a junior or senior in high school, age 16 or above, in order to be eligible for dual credit courses. You can print an application online or visit Parkland's admissions office to pick one up.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to see the counselor right now.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
Me neither.
Welcome back to Cobra Corner. I'm joined now by new men's basketball coach here at Parkland College, Anthony Figueroa. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right, so your season just started. You're about 5 games in. Talk a little bit about your new head coach. Talk a little bit about your background and kind of how you ended up here at Parkland.
Well, I spent 4 years at a similar junior college level called Lackawanna in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Was out there for 4 years. We won over 100 games. We were pretty successful. After that, I went over to Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois, which is actually where I graduated from. Was there for 3 years, had some good runs there, and now had this opportunity at Parkland.
All right. And also local product, Centennial High School, is that correct?
Yeah, went to Centennial, graduated from there, have coached there twice. That's where I started my coaching career at, I guess you would say. It was coaching at the freshman level and helping out on varsity, and then I also spent another year there previous to this helping out on varsity.
Okay. So what's your coaching philosophy then? What do you kind of try to bring to your team?
I don't know if there's one thing, but we do preach consistently, working hard every day, and not just, on the court, but in the classroom, and making sure that you're responsible and accountable for what you do.
Okay. And so when you came here to Parkland, kind of maybe touch on a little bit more, what might have you learned at some of your other jobs that you brought with you?
I learned how to, and from some of my other head coaches, how to deal with individual players, and it's, you can't group everybody together. Everybody is an individual, although you're a team, and you have to figure out how to work with each guy, and what motivates and what pushes, and what isn't as motivating as others. What's gonna maybe put a guy to a place where you don't want him to be. So, and just how to run a program, and how to carry the day-to-day responsibilities. I think some things that I've definitely learned from some head coaches that I've worked under.
Okay, a lot of personalities to manage and kind of push the right buttons for every person, right?
Yes.
All right, so we mentioned 5 games in. You lost your first game of the season just by 2, but then you've won 4 in a row, including winning the Laker Classic just recently.
That was huge for us. I think we really came together as a team during that Laker Classic tournament. Played some really tough teams. We played really hard, executed, we stayed together, and I think that was really important. Didn't necessarily play, I don't think we've played our best games by far, but we were able to play well enough to get some wins.
Okay, so looking at that small sample size of 5 games, you kind of touched on a little bit. What were some of the positives that came out of that?
Like I said, I think we're coming together as a team. I think people are understanding and accepting their roles, which is very important. Role acceptance is huge in a team sport. They're listening. And I shouldn't say we are listening. We're listening to each other. When the players have feedback, the coaches are doing a good job of listening and seeing if we can add that into the game plan or make the adjustment. The players are listening in the game, making in-game adjustments, which is very important. We've gotten better throughout practices at doing that as well, and it carries over to the game.
Okay, and what about some things that you saw early on that you think you need to keep working on?
We still need to shoot the ball better. We've had a lot of open shots that need to go in, and that's just getting reps in practice, getting more reps on their own. And we still need to limit our turnovers consistently. If we can keep those down, to single digits would be fantastic. I think that gives us a great chance to win games. Okay.
Well, as a new coach, especially at a community college, you're kind of starting all over. 10 freshmen, 5 sophomores. Kind of talk about some of your key players so far this year.
Well, the first 3 sophomores were here last year. That's Mark Gilcrease, Dalton Temples, and Anthony Woods. And then the other 2 sophomores are actually transfers, so they're new to the program as well, and that's Dominique Walls and Cedric Smith. Right now, those 5 sophomores are some of our leaders. Anthony Woods in particular is a great vocal leader, and he works hard every day. He had a great tournament down at Lakeland. Dominique Walls was all tournament, and Mark Gilcrease was all tournament as well as the tournament MVP. So those 3 really stepped up. Cedric is a huge help on the court. He's so court savvy, he has great court awareness. He really knows the game and understands it. So having him out there, and Dalton doesn't say much, but he does work extremely hard and he listens. And then the freshmen that we got coming in to the game off the bench, they're so eager to get minutes. They play so hard that it's hard for other teams to kind of match their intensity because they want to be on the court. And like I said, they understand their role and they're accepting it and they're embracing it.
Okay, the group that is in right now, did you recruit any of these guys, or were they mostly recruited by Nate Mast? Or?
It was about half and half.
Okay.
Like I said, the 3 sophomores were already here, Dalton, Mark, and Anthony.
Sure.
And then Coach Mast had signed 5 guys already to make up 8, and then we got out over the summer and we got 7 more guys in here, and it's proven to be a good mix.
Okay, great. So you talked a little bit earlier about, you mentioned academics already. Can you talk a little bit about your other role here at Parkland besides just being the basketball coach?
Yeah, I'm the academic monitor, so to all the athletes. So we just finished up advising for the spring semester, where I basically have to meet with each individual athlete over the course of about 3 weeks and come up with a game plan for the next semester and make sure everybody is staying on track with their courses and on track to graduate and staying with the NJCAA eligibility rules. So it is time consuming, but it gives you an opportunity to meet all the athletes, and I get to kind of nudge them our way in terms of coming out to games and supporting us. And at the same time, when you start talking to these kids, it makes you want to go out and watch them play and support them. So when the spring comes up, baseball and softball obviously have huge roster numbers. Hopefully we as a team can get out there and show them some support because they've came to our games. We actually had a decent little student following that came down to Lakeland on Sunday for the championship game, which was great. I really appreciated that, and I told our guys that we need to thank them when we see them again in the hallways this week.
Sure, that's great. Yeah, getting a little road trip is always fun for the kids, so that's nice. Kind of staying off the court a little bit, talk about some of the community service you were telling me that you guys have done so far.
Thus far, before practice started, we tried to get some stuff in the fall. We went out to Westview Elementary School and we did some interacting with their 5th grade classes. They had a fundraising event where they were doing like a walkathon. And they had a lot of activities and games set up outside. They had a petting zoo. They had a lot of animal exhibits. And so we kind of walked around with the 5th grade classes there and got the chance to mingle. And I think some of our guys were having more fun than the 5th graders there with all the animals and stuff. So that was great. A few weeks after that, we went out to the Champaign County Down Syndrome Buddy Walk. We helped with setup. We helped supervise activities and games, and just got a chance to mingle with some more people in the community, and it was great for our kids.
Oh, that's great. So back on the court, kind of the rest of the season, what are your kind of your goals and your hopes for this season?
We want to continue to work hard. I think we still can grow as a team. I think we can still come closer together, and I know we can improve. So that's our goal every day, is just to improve and continue to work hard.
Okay, and obviously you're doing that stuff. You have some help from some of your assistant coaches.
Oh, I have great assistants. Cliko Bowie, he's another Champaign native, excellent player when he played, and he really has a great relationship with the guys. Charles Warren is our another assistant. He actually played for me at Milliken. He's still kind of closer to the age, so he almost has a player mentality. He's super excited when right before the game starts. He fits in right in with those guys. And then we have a student assistant, Liam Selinsky. He's a little older in terms of being a student, so he's a little bit more mature, and he really understands the game. He did some coaching locally at St. Thomas More, and I believe at St. Matt's even. So he's a valuable asset. We have some great student managers, Sam Landecker and Alex Wallner. Both of them were managers in high school, and they really do a great job of helping with setup, filming, getting the guys stuff, when they need it. It's just fabulous. And then we have a strength and conditioning, Jesse Carlson. He's a certified strength and conditioning guy here, and he helps out during practices, gets them all loose and stretched up. And when we need some extra conditioning, he kind of runs that part. So we've got a great group of guys, 1 through I think it's about 22 or 23, with all the coaches. So it's working out very well.
All right, and you talked about strength and conditioning. New fitness center coming here at Parkland. That's got to be great for your team as well.
It's fabulous. It's state of the art. There's only probably 2 other places in the country that can compare, and I think that's University of Michigan and then an NHL team. So what we have here is going to be vital and very important to all our student athletes, especially the basketball team, and it helps in recruiting. It speaks for itself when you go in there. So if people haven't seen it, they probably need to get over and check it out.
Yeah, and as a new coach coming in, it's got to be exciting. You have the new fitness center, the basketball, the gym has recently been renovated, so that's got to be great to see that coming in as a new coach.
New locker room space, new classrooms downstairs, so when we want to have meetings and watch film, it's even better. Right now, Parkland is the place to be.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming on and being on the show. I appreciate you taking the time.
All right, thank you.
All right. When we come back, we'll have the head coach for the women's team, Karrie Redeker.
In the last 10 years, Parkland Baseball has sent 97 players onto 4-year schools on baseball scholarships. We've made 5 appearances in the World Series. We have won 2 national titles, produced 3 Major League Baseball players.
I came here on a Parkland baseball scholarship, and then I found the career that I want to go into, criminal justice. Playing sports, a lot of fun and keeps you busy.
Colin's a very dedicated player. He's got some schools that are coming out to determine how much scholarship they can offer him.
Get the ball rolling to a new career with an Eastern Illinois University degree at Parkland College.
Parkland and Eastern really made it work for me.
Now I'm taking Eastern classes on Parkland's campus.
I'm working on my bachelor's degree from Eastern without commuting.
Thanks to Parkland and Eastern, I'm reaching my goals.
For more on Eastern at Parkland, call 217-351-2543.
Catch live, play-by-play coverage of Parkland sports. Live the action live. CobraSports.net.
Welcome back to Cobra Corner. I'm joined now by the women's basketball coach here at Parkland College, Karrie Redeker. Thanks for being on the show.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, time flies. It seems like it wasn't that long ago that it was your first time on here, but now it's your 6th season here at Parkland.
Yeah, I guess old hat. I'm one of the people who've been here the longest in our coaching staff, and so it's a great place to be. Glad to be back.
All right. Well, you've had a lot of success since you've been here, and so far you're 4-0 this year. Talk about what you've seen from the team so far.
Well, we've gone off to a pretty good start. We have a good group of sophomores which always helps when you have a lot of returners. And then we feel like a good influx of freshmen, a lot of talent. They're still learning the college game and learning, our system. But we're excited the way they've meshed together. They seem to have pretty good chemistry and have just kind of taken one game at a time, and glad to be 4-0.
All right. Well, looking at your roster, it's balanced with sophomores and freshmen. I'm sure since you've been here, you've had kind of more freshmen and more sophomores. Does it matter to you two either way, or do you think it's easier one way or the other if your roster is more balanced?
We try to keep it balanced as much as we can, and I think last year that was a struggle for us. We only had 4 sophomores, and then we had 8 new players. So trying to get everybody acclimated and get them used to the college game, it's definitely more difficult when you don't have as many sophomores. So just drill work and understanding our offense and defense and just basic things, going to gyms and understanding, how our season works and our schedule. It does make a difference once kids have been through it. So we're very happy to have a nice big group of sophomores.
Okay, so 7 sophomores. Tell me about some of the key returners.
They're all actually key returners. In our rotations, we're in our starting lineups. We've started all 5 sophomores, and then the other 2 have been our top subs off the bench. So we'll start with our point guards, Lexi Taylor from Normal West, and she's done a great job for us. She runs a show. She's a very heady player, works very hard defensively, tries to get everybody involved. One game she had 18 points, a different game she had 6. So she kind of understands the pace that we want to play at and is what you look for in a point guard as an extension of the head coach. So she's done a really good job for us. At our 2 and 3 guards, we've had Lauren Grubb and Lindsay Lennon. And Lindsay shot 40% from three-point range last year and was actually 5 for 5 in a game that we had earlier this year. So she's done a really good job. She's starting to take the ball to the hole. Lauren does a great job in our transition game. And then off the bench, we have Taylor Redeker, who comes in, and she is a pretty heady player, has a high basketball IQ, and does well there. And then at our post position, we started Ebony Brumfield at the 4 and Heather Baker at the 5. And Ebony has had a couple double-doubles. She's a really strong rebounder inside. And Heather is very athletic, understands our defensive system, gets up and down the floor very quickly. And then off the bench, we've had Yuzuri Williams, who's from Champaign Junior Christian here in town. And she adds a dimension of athleticism and just a good, strong work ethic. She does a nice job of rebounding. So they all kind of have their individual strengths and play to those, and then just are also working on their weaknesses, but do a nice job of playing well together.
It's nice. Sounds like you almost have like 7 starters. It kind of sounds like.
Yeah, we do, and we're not set on a lineup. I don't think we ever have. We've tried to play 9 or 10 or 11 kids consistently and wear the other team down, and I think we have the lineup that can continue to do that.
Okay, so how about some of the newcomers and the freshmen?
Our freshmen, we have 2 point guards. This year we have Cheyenne Piper from Mount Vernon and Amy Iverson from Sherrard. And both of those young ladies, Amy's probably a better defender, but Cheyenne maybe is a little bit better of a leader. So they kind of, just depending on what the other team does, that's kind of who sees minutes between the 2 of them. And they get to go against Lexi every day in practice, so that should make them better. And then at our 2 guard, we have Erin Kelly, she was the career leader of three-pointers at Pontiac High School. She actually broke Ashley Timmerman's record, who is our leading three-point shooter at Parkland when she was in high school. So she's a really good shooter and has done a nice job. Then we have Josie Clucky from Hardin Calhoun, and she was a 1A All-State player, everybody's All-State team, and she's like a 5'11". She can post up, she can run the floor, she can hit the 3, so she's kind of one of those do-it-all kind of players and does a really good job for us. And then in our post, we have Jalen Ayers from Danville. She's a 5'11" post player. She's been out a little bit with a knee injury, but she is a good rebounder and is a lively player, I guess you would call her. And then Stephanie Barmas is a 6'3" post player from Indianapolis, and she gives us that size and versatility inside that she can alter some shots and gets a lot of rebounds. So all of them have a bright future here, and they're kind of, like I said, finding their way, understanding what we're wanting to do, and they're working hard. They're just need some experience in there.
Sure. Okay, before we move on to kind of more about this season, I'd like to talk about some of the players from last year's team that might have moved on to 4-year schools.
Yeah, we have Hannah Ohl, who went on to USC Upstate. She has a Division I school in South Carolina, and I actually just saw her play Saturday night over at Purdue. So she started in their game and has done a really good job for them. Lauren Taylor and Christine Smythe are both at Missouri Baptist, which is an NAIA school down by St. Louis, and they both started on Saturday, and they're just getting their seasons underway, but both of them are contributing. And then Tracy Aspie is over at Robert Morris in Springfield, and she sat out last year but is ready to contribute this year. And then Brittany Burgess is also playing at Illinois College over in Jacksonville. So all those ladies, where the Parkland move on and have done really well.
And it's always good for Parkland and for recruiting if you can have girls move on to bigger schools.
Sure, and we try to talk to our kids about just trying to find the right fit. It doesn't matter if you're playing Division I or you're playing, Division III or NAIA, trying to get them to find the right fit and then going to a place where they can get some of their education paid for. So all those ladies are doing those kinds of things.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your schedule the rest of the season. Who are some teams that you need to kind of look out for in the region?
Well, definitely Lakeland is the returning champion. They went to the national tournament last year, and we have them right before Christmas in December. We go down there, which is a really tough place to play. Illinois Central has a new coach, and they've done really well as well. John Wood, that's who we lost to last year over in Quincy. They have a lot of returning talent. Danville, we lost to them last year for the first time, and their coach has done a great job of building their program up, and so they have probably they have a lot of talent left from last year as well. Lincoln Land plays us tough, and Lewis and Clark is another team. So I've pretty much, I think, named all the teams except Lincoln has done a good job as well. But we are going to have to be ready to play every single night. Seems like teams are always gunning for us anyway, but then just we're going to have to see, are our 13 better than their 11 or 12, and be ready to go every night.
All right. Well, last year, the first year in several years that you didn't make it to nationals. So what do you I know it's just a little thing here, a little thing there, but what do you think that you might have to do this year to kind of get back there?
I think definitely our defense needs to be better, and those were some things we found last year. Our goal is to hold teams under 65 points every game, and we've found consistently if we've done that, we have won generally most of our games, not every game, but most games. And so I think just having that group of sophomores back that understands our priority of defense and understands cutting the baseline and playing good team defense and how to shut down the other team's best player and believing in that. And then I also think last year something that hurt us was our free throw percentage. We have generally been just above 70% as a team, and last year we were not close to that, and that kind of made the difference in a lot of our close games that we maybe let slip away because we didn't get those points early or consistently score from the line. So I think those two things, and our kids are shooting. We have them shoot 4 times a week. They either have to make 50 free throws every day or shoot 15 minutes and just consistently shoot free throws. So they're doing that on their own, and that's something that we let them know that that's a priority to us and something that's very important for our team to be good at. So I think hopefully if we can continue to do that, those things will help.
Okay. I always like to try to touch on your assistant coaches. I was looking on the website, saw something interesting. You have kind of like a veteran group of assistant coaches. You have quite a few that have been here with you for a while, which is great, I think.
Sure, and I think that speaks well for our program, and obviously the stronger staff you have, I feel the stronger program you have, and I've been blessed to have the assistant coaches that we've had. Chuck Klutz has been with our staff since I started 6 years ago, and he's our recruiting coordinator, does a lot of the visits, gives kids the campus tours and things like that, and goes and watches a lot of high school basketball games. So he's invaluable to us, and I've said this before, that he knows everything about Parkland and the positives and negatives, and he's recruiting the same kinds of kids with his softball program, and he's had a lot of success with that. So we definitely, anything we can learn from him, we want to take from him. Mike Lindemann has been with us for 5 years, and he's a very successful high school coach before coming here to Parkland, and he does a lot of that, watches a lot of film, and does a lot of that game day management type of thing. Bill Dobrik joined our staff last year as a first-year coach. He had been an assistant at Indiana Wesleyan, where they won a national championship. So they're a very strong NAIA school. So he's got an understanding of what it takes with, just the day in and day out routine type things. He's also goes out recruiting a lot and is really invested in that. And then Denny Hieronymus, who's not here in town, he lives in Bloomington, but he is kind of like I guess the elf behind the Santa Claus type thing. He does all those little things behind the scenes that help our staff out and help our kids out. So he'll do different scouting or different recruiting for us, and he loves women's basketball. So he's somebody that's always really enthused and raring to go. So it's always nice to have him around as well.
Another thing I wanted to touch on, I talked to Anthony about this earlier, and I don't think you can really talk about it too much. The new fitness center that Parkland built here on campus, it's a new, great facility, and I just would think that you have to be real excited as far as conditioning and stuff for your team in the new facility. We're
very excited. That's a great recruiting tool for our kids, and if there's a better set of facilities for a junior college in the nation, I'd like to see it. We're just very blessed in the facilities that we have. Our kids do weight training, strength training 2 days a week with a personal trainer in the fitness center with a program through Chris Warren, our former men's basketball coach. And so they're working on all different kinds of sport-specific exercises. And it's not just the bench and the dumbbells that we may have done when we were younger. It's more lunge matrix and things like that to keep them strong and keep them from getting injured and just get more athletic. So I think we've done that since we started here, Chris, or I guess my second year, and we've had kids participate in that, and they love our kids love working out and doing those things. So that's been a real positive for us. Yeah, I know it's a great facility, and I was talking to Chris. He said actually Myers Leonard came over and got a couple workouts in over at the new facility before he went to Portland because he wanted to work out a couple times, and of course he didn't want to do it on the U of I campus. But he came and was impressed with the facilities too, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I believe that Chris really did a great job, and the other staff members who kind of planned that. And I actually did a workout with them this summer, and I was sore for like 2 weeks after doing that. So I know what they're doing in there is good stuff, and just amazed at how that's turned out. All right, so let's talk a little bit off the court. I was seeing that your group had a 3.3 GPA last year. That's got to be something you're really proud of. Yeah, we are excited about that, and we were named an NJCAA All-Academic Team, and that's something that we're very proud of. We try to encourage each one of our kids to try to get above a 3.0, and obviously some get higher than that, and we had a couple 4.0s last year. So everybody's got to do their part. We have them go to study table 5 hours a week, and they can always go more if they like, which they don't usually. But I think obviously for women's basketball, in our 6 years, we've never had a kid go to the WNBA, and we talk to them about, plan for your future. Even if you don't want to play basketball after Parkland, you probably want to do something after that, and just talking to them about getting into another school, and you need a certain GPA to get into the teacher education program, or you need a certain GPA to get accepted here. And so understanding, they're not just going to class and going through the motions, they're preparing for their future beyond Parkland, and I think that's very important, and not just for athletes, but definitely for women. If that opportunity for playing after Parkland isn't necessarily probably there as likely as it would be for men. So I think our kids have taken a lot of pride in that, and we're very proud of them. All right. Well, thanks a lot for being on the show. Good luck in the rest of your 6th season, and hopefully you guys can get it back to nationals. Thank you. All right. That's it for this edition of Cobra Corner. Thanks for watching.